Hello and welcome to the Varsity Blue Bowl Special. Of course, Big Blue not bowling this year for the first time in 34 years. That's not stopping us for taking over Channel 55 for a whole hour at a time and talking about bowl games that no one cares about.
True.
It's nothing stopping us. All right. Well, first, before we get to some great games like the St. Petersburg Bowl and the PapaJohns.com Bowl, first we're going to talk about Michigan's football season. And to start, we're going to undermine all of our credibility. I've looked back at our last 9 episodes and showed some of our not our greatest moments. Take a look.
Start in the non-conference schedule for the Michigan football Wolverines. One of the most exciting games in Michigan history took place at the Big House. Recapping the ups and downs of the Michigan football season, I'm Alex Prasad. Michigan's improbable second-half comeback, where the Wolverines rallied from a 19-point deficit to upset the then number 9 Wisconsin Badgers, made some of us here at Varsity Blue a little, well, let's just say, unrealistic.
What I think we learned, Michigan, Alex, is Michigan is still Michigan. They can still play with the best teams in the country, and they can still hold their own, and they can still move the ball effectively, and they can still play defense. So they may be struggling, maybe having a down year, but they can still play good football.
I took something really, I'm really excited out of this game. That's all I got out of it. I mean, I'm barely being able to articulate myself right now about how excited I am about this game. I feel like it's a sign of things to come.
But despite a big loss to Illinois, your humble host was still certain the Wolverines could knock off the Toledo Rockets.
All right, well, call it, the Michigan arrogance, but I'm going to write down in pen, this is a big W for the Michigan Wolverines. And given that fact, Andy and Scott, what does Michigan need to accomplish in this game? Moving forward, looking ahead, hopefully not overlooking the Rockets, but knowing that Penn State on the road is coming up.
And when they didn't, everyone was a little fired up.
Hello and welcome to Varsity Blues, officially changing the name. Got to change that graphic on the intro. Mid-October,
Alex, I just want to say I've been on WOLV TV for 4 years now, and this has to be the most concern going into a show I've had that something profane is going to jump out of my mouth. So I just want to apologize in advance. I'm going to do my best to keep it clean, but that's just how I'm feeling right now.
And after a 42-7 loss at Ohio State, it will be a long, cold winter in Ann Arbor.
Try to do something to get 4 quarters of execution, because it's ridiculous right now.
Well, welcome back to Varsity Blue. Alex Prasad, Chris Sean, and Andy Baena.
Thank you,
I
Alex.
did not
Thank you.
introduce them. I didn't introduce myself either.
Unbelievable.
Right when we started out, I'm just, cramming for this exam, which is knowing something about all 34 bowls. Of course, we'll be joined by a whole bunch of people. But first, guys, let's talk about that 2008 Michigan football season. Where do you see this team going from here?
What 2008 football season? Because I didn't see a team.
The one that broke all the records.
No, I didn't see a team.
I
didn't see a team wearing maize and blue in Michigan Stadium on Saturdays playing football. They were playing a little bit of patty cake, a little bit of horsing around out there. I didn't see much football, so I'm still looking forward to that. Wouldn't you say, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, do you mean the team that beat Duke? Because I thought that's the team that
that
everyone
was
cares about right
basketball.
now. Oh, was it?
Yeah,
my apologies.
That'd be
Duke's a pretty good team.
2009.
Duke would probably stomp Michigan in football, too.
Do you think so? I mean, I'm not sure about
Duke
that.
had a pretty good team. They had a pretty good team.
Looking back on the year,
Too bad they're not bowling.
What are you going to do?
Tough year. I mean, as a senior at this university, it's just very disappointing for me. After all these years, 34 straight bowl games, and we're not going to one now. And I was there at the bowl game last year, so it almost brings it full circle. Being from Orlando myself, I was at the Capital One bowl game. They won the game, great fashion. Just all the Michigan tradition and all the elements that you see there. And now a year later, I'm gonna go back to my friends and be like, sorry, no tickets this year. So
I mean, one thing we really can take away from this year at least is that we developed some good players. I mean, granted, not all of them may be coming back, but we still have some things to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, that's true, and hopefully there's some buzz about this recruiting class with Take Force here. And Shavadrik Beaver. There's lots of good nicknames that come out of that.
Shabby Beeves, yep.
Yeah, Shabby Beeves.
There'll be many more in the future.
I guess that's the first nominee, Shabby Beeves. I don't know. I'll appreciate that. We have to go to commercial break real quick, but coming up, we're going to start with bowl number 34 on that list.
Well, I guess the best thing about You Say Maize, I Say Blue is that Danny and Chris are just so different. I mean, Danny's really calm and relaxed, and Chris, he's just so fiery. It's almost to a fault.
All right, let's make some television. Andy, you're cool on that camera. Chris, we're fine with everything. Larissa, you're good behind the set. Tom, Peter, Charlie behind the scenes, and we got everything fine here.
What is going on here?
What do you mean?
You know the yellow side is supposed to be out with the basketball.
Oh, my bad.
You know the teddy bear is supposed to be on the right side. How many years have we been doing this show, Danny?
It's really not a big
deal. Are you kidding me? This is you say maize, I say blue.
Not again.
Well, at least they get along well on air.
I mean, they came out, they played soft, they played slow, and they played probably like they practiced all week.
And this is a U.S. team that had been absolutely demolished the last 2 years, and they just came out and took it to Team Europe.
Plus, they still can win this year.
Absolutely.
That's what the genius part is. They can still win this year, and they're going to be better in the future because of the deal. That's Joe Dumars.
And then obviously you look at a nucleus for the future built around, Rip Hamilton.
Welcome back to Varsity Blue. Alex Prasad, Christy Sean, Andy Baena, and also Sean Ratchford, who's joining us to break down, by some respects, the worst 5 bowls out there. But Sean's pretty excited, aren't you?
It's great to be here, and I disagree that these are the worst bowls. These are the bowls I look forward to every single year.
Of course, the New Mexico Bowl, St. Petersburg Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl, Eagle Bank Bowl, and New Orleans Bowl. Those are the ones that usually get me excited,
Especially
guys.
the R plus L.
Now,
period.
you get a little carried away with that, Alex. There's still some very good matchups in here, and I think Sean's going to tell us a little bit about those.
All right, Sean, take it away.
There's some great matchups. Let's first start with the New Mexico Bowl, when we have Fresno State taking on what I like to call a great team in Colorado State. Now, Fresno State has a great quarterback. His name is Brandstetter. He's coming off a decent season of 7-5. However, the way I look at it is in their last 5 bowl games, Pat Hill, their coach, has led them to a 4-1 record. They have upset some great teams like Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, so they know how to play well in the bowl games. On the other side, you got Colorado State, who finished 6-6, in the Mountain West Conference. They have not been to a bowl game since 2005. We're gonna see it's gonna be a tough matchup in terms of. These teams are very mediocre, and not a whole lot going for them. However, I do see Brandstetter having some great passing game against a weak Colorado secondary. Next game we got is the St. Petersburg Bowl, which it's going to be a great time.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to stop you there real quick. How are 2 Southern teams going to handle playing a bowl game in Russia?
Well, South Florida has a great majors program in Marxism, so that is going to factor into them playing in Russia. But actually, no, this game is played in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. South Florida, 7-5. Memphis, 6-6. Finishing second in the Conference USA. The way I see this, South Florida has a tougher competition. Their head coach, Jim Leavitt, he knows what he's doing. It's going to be an interesting matchup because Groth, he's still a great quarterback. And he needs to throw the ball in the air out there, and so we'll see a great matchup there. Eagle Bank Bowl, another prestigious bowl that first time ever being played. I like it's Wake Forest and Navy, and Wake Forest has already played Navy, and that happened in September 27th, where Navy won 24-17. So another interesting matchup going on there. We're going to head over to the Las Vegas Bowl, which actually is very interesting. We have BYU versus Arizona. BYU finished 10-2 against Arizona 7-5. Battle of 2 heavy passing offenses that don't play a whole lot of defense. So look for the ball to be flung around the air there with Tuitama and Hall, each great quarterbacks. Finally, we got the New Orleans Bowl. Southern Miss versus Troy. Troy coming off their huge conference championship in the Sun Belt, finishing 8-4, and Southern Miss at 6-6. It's gonna be a tough go. Levi Brown of Troy's, he's a great quarterback. 14 touchdowns, not a whole lot of interceptions. Decent running game with DeJuan Harris, the 11 TDs, but it's another game where 2 very, very mediocre teams.
All right, Sean, there's only one thing that we have to challenge you on, and that's your pick of Southern Miss there. We all went with Troy. Definitely had the tougher schedule, in my opinion. But so why were you feeling Southern Miss? Of course, Brett Favre does not play for Southern Miss anymore.
Southern Miss, they won their last 4 games in a row. They have that swagger that it takes to go into the bowl season to play very well. So that's how I feel about Southern Miss. Winning your last 4 games gives you the mentality we can take on anybody we want right now. I don't care what bowl we get put in, we're going to destroy them. That's why I'm taking Southern Miss.
Yeah, obviously he likes DeAndre Brown, freshman receiver, averaging more receiving yards than anybody else in the country, as a freshman at least. So, throw the ball to DeAndre Brown, you got a good shot.
All right, well, we have to thank Sean for all his help on those games and enlightening us. And of course, we'll see Sean on Wolverine Alley-Oop. And as we move the discussion back to the table here, guys, I see you, Chris, only guy that went out on the limb for Navy there against Wake Forest.
Oh yeah, you know.
Toughest thing in sports to do is beat a football team twice.
They say, you know, you face a team twice, it goes with the, you know, the advantage goes to the loser of the first matchup. You know, I think Riley Skinner's had a really tough season here in his junior year. After that, all that hype